Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? Well, we did it again, didn't we? We got to Friday, so I think we need a big pat on the back. I hope you've got a nice brew. Have you got a cheeky biscuit? Or are you going for cake today? What do you think? Maybe a nice crumpet, tea cake? Let me know. I'd love to know what you're doing while you listen to this video. I mean, are you one of our 2 a.m. club that listens while they're in bed of a night? If you are, I hope you're nice and tired and relaxed and that you'll sleep well. If you're watching in the day, are we morning, evening? Whatever time it is, I'm glad to be popping in and just spending a little bit of time with you. Now, I'm in my craft room on my own today. There's no Eric because I'm going to be using alcohol inks. So as you know, with alcohol inks, you need a well-ventilated room and no pets. So, Eric, if you hear some moaning, it'll be Eric outside. So I may have to be a bit quick because he can't wait to get back in. And I'm going to have to lock him out. Just let the fumes go a little bit before he comes in. It's just that animals have got sensitive noses. Anyway, I digress. So recently I put a picture of a workshop on social media, and a lovely lady, Janet, said it was an alcohol ink workshop, and she said she'd like more videos using alcohol inks. So lo and behold, I said Friday, I'll make one. And, you know, we do love feedback and we do our best where we can to try. And I've got a list of things. So if you message me and ask for something to be included, I have got a list of things. And what I thought we'd do today is just show you how I created this beautiful tag. So a couple of reminders. So this is alcohol inks, as I say, well-ventilated room. I'm going to use my Lavinia alcohol inks, and the best, you want a non-porous surface. So things like glass, metal, acetate, not normal card. So this is a synthetic, almost a plastic type card, and it's called Yupo card. Now, a little tip here, and I know you're going to laugh, but the first time I did a design on the Yupo card, I opened the packet but mistakenly took the piece of card, this design, out, but because it's white on the back, dropped my ink on it, excuse me, and it didn't move. And I realised I'd used the card, the example card here, not the actual Yupo card. But the good thing is, talking to the ladies at the workshop the other week, I'm not the only one who's ever done that. So if ever the ink doesn't move, you'll realise it's the wrong type of surface. So it die cuts beautifully. So this is one of the Tim Holtz dies from the tag collection. And I find it great because this way I can make lots of tags, but also it gives me a little area, smaller area to practice on. So straight to the chase. For me, I don't want it on my mat. So either put a piece of kitchen roll underneath or just, I have extra protection, just another mat. And the colours I'm going to use, this is Starline Grey. You can use any colour for this, but my suggestion is, and again, this is just me, just one colour to start off with. Once you've had a play and you know what you're doing, maybe introduce other colours. Try not to add too many colours too quickly or it can look very muddy. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you know me, this is just the way I do it. If you've got your own ideas, if you've got a way that works for you, lovely. If you've got any hints and tips, add them on here because, you know, you learn so much from each other. So I'm going to take the lid off that before I start. And I've also, Lavinia sell these fabulous needle tip bottles. And I've put my Lavinia blending solution into this just because I find this easier and better for me to handle it. But please make sure you write on the bottle what it is. So I know this is my Lavinia blending solution. So first of all, I'm just going to start, and you didn't see that, sorry. Mr. Eric's not in here, but he sent a dog hair just so I don't forget him. And again, another tip is don't add too much ink to start off with. So I'm just putting 3 areas like that. And I'm just going to add a little drop of the blending solution to each and let it move, see where it goes. If we're not careful, we can come in with too much. Now, if possible, I want to try and leave white in these 2 corners, but we'll see. alcohol ink air puffer. I love this. As you know, I use it for other inks as well. I use it for my Distress, my Elements mixed with water. Now I'm just going to move this around, and for me, I find I hold the nozzle quite close. I'm hoping you can see, and I tend to do short bursts, not sort of big, just short. And again, just lots of little movements, look, and you can see the way it moves. Now the other thing is, no two ones of these will ever look alike. For me, I find it useful to have the puffer in one hand and my blending solution in the other. And I just find I look for an area like that. I wasn't keen on that. It was a bit dark. So if I add the blending solution, it blends it, sort of makes it lighter. And can you see how now, if I lift that up, can you see we've got that lovely lighter area? And it dries very quickly. Obviously, as the alcohol evaporates, it dries quickly. So the dark, we've got some dark here. So that's the next bit I'm going to work on. And again, this is just the way my head works. So the same thing. I'll just put a little bit of blending solution on there. Let it just react a little bit. And then blow it up there. And try not to put my hand in so you can see. And then blow it back down here. So I'm happy with that now. This edge I'm not keen on. So I'm just going to put the solution. I want that to move a little bit, almost fuzzy that edge. Blend it out and then blend it back. And all I'm going to do is keep working on these areas, add in a little bit of blending solution and then moving that ink around. So that I want it a bit lighter further out. So I'm just using the puffer, look, and then I'm going to bring it back in. And if I want to dry it a little bit quicker, I just use the puffer from the top. So I like that. This bit here I'm not keen on. So we'll move this edge. Now I'm hoping you can see if the puffer gets in the way. I'm really sorry, this is just the way I need to work. Now if I stop there and just lift it up to show you, can you see how now I've got a few almost darker veins, which I love, and then these lighter areas. So this here just looks a little bit of a blob to me. So what I'm going to do is add my blending solution and then use my puffer. It'll lighten it here, almost dissolves it a little. And I will puff it this way outwards, so we'll get a little bit of a lighter grey, and then I'll use the puffer to pop it back that way, and hopefully we'll get some of these lovely veins in this area. So that's the idea. So as I say, we'll add just one drop, let it start to work, look, dissolve it a little, and then move that grey out, but then move it back in and see if we can get some of those lines. Right, I like that, but I'm not keen on that edge there. So I'm just going to fuzzy that a bit. So if I lift it up to show you, so it's done, I've dispersed it, but I'm not quite keen on that. So I'm just going to work on that, this edge here and this edge here. I'm liking this. Now, obviously, what I like may be completely different to what you like. And that's the beauty of it. That's because, you know, we design things ourselves. We all have things that we like, things that we don't. But do you know what? Just have fun. So if you've got your alcohol inks, please get them out and have a play. Now I'm going to stop because I want to add some silver. So it will change slightly. Just wasn't keen on that there. Right, speed this up a bit. Right, so, oh, I'm much happy with that. So I lift that up. Can you see? This is much lighter now. And I got rid of that funny shape. But I like the veins we've got there. So I'm really happy with that. But I want to add a little bit of silver. So I'm going to pop the lid on. I try and pop the lids on as soon as I can. Now your silver, There's a silver, a copper and a gold. These are the ones they've got ball bearings in, so you need to give that a shake. It's a bit like your Posca pen. Anything with a ball bearing in, it's telling you it needs a good shake. But also, if you've got one of these watches on that counts your steps, make sure you shake it with that hand. And no, it's not cheating. It needs shaking anyway. Now, my other tip with this is, you know what I'm like, don't go over the top. So again, you don't need a lot. So what I'll do is I'll just put one little dab here, there and there. So we'll go with the 3, because if you put too much on, it disperses differently. It's quite almost thicker. And I don't want to get a blob of this. I want to almost get it so it's got veins. So it looks like it's just silver veins running through. So again, just going to add my blending solution and move it. And so can you see here how it disperses? I'll lift it up in a minute to show you. And the best way, I mean, it's one thing watching, but then the best thing to do is actually have a play yourself. So I'm just doing the 2 hands like I did and just trying to move that silver around so I get threads of it. So I'll just dry that from the top. I just want it to dry so I can show you. So if I show you, when you just put it on, look, it looks like this and it's quite thick. So by keep putting the blending solution and moving it, can you see I've got these veins that have moved out here? I'm hoping you can pick that up. So they've gone into threads. Here, that's still a bit clumpy, so I need to work on this. I like that there. That's a thicker thread. And it almost to me looks like a little bit like sort of a crystal, you know, where it's got lovely veins going through it. I used to love collecting gems. I don't know if it's just me. When I was little, whenever we went anywhere, and you know, sort of like if you went in the gift shop and you could buy something. I went through a phase of collecting postcards. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done that. But also gems. A lot of places you could buy a little crystal. And it's funny because Elliot and Jensen like to do the same. We're so lucky there's a place near us that you can buy individual crystals. But what's lovely, they all have different properties, and I love to see what the properties are. There's one that's good for arthritis and bone pain. So when we were looking, Elliot said, why don't you get one for Eric, because he knows he's got poorly bones. So I did, and I've put the little gem in a dish on the cabinet next to where his bed is. So while we're just catching up, I'm just, where the thicker bits of the silver is, I'm just adding, and again, it's 1 dot at a time. And for me, I take the applicator, the needle, quite close, look. Don't almost drop it from a height because you're dispersing it into the air. So it's far better that you just keep it close. Again, just good habits to get into. Right, I'm going to dry that now and have a look. I certainly think I'm liking the look of that. What I do want though is, if I show you, I love that, and I love that thread. I've got a little bit of dark there. I just think I could do with darkening this bottom bit a little. Now, not a lot, and I don't want to spoil it, so if I just put 1 drop, and if I can just disperse this up amongst that silver, I think it'll just ground it at the bottom a little. And I think it'll look so much better. Right, let me dry that. Give that a good dry. Oh yes, I'm so pleased I did that. Can you see? Just with the little darker bits here, for me that evens it up and also balances it. Now I know it's difficult seeing the colours, And that will dry very quickly. It's probably dry now. But I love the way we've got the lighter bits here, that darker bit, and this silver thread running through. Now imagine the possibilities. Just think you could add. Now I'm going to put the lid on this because, as I say, as soon as you can, in my opinion, pop the lids on. And let's just pop this in its... Pop the lid on there. There we go. And as I say, no two will be the same look. That's a bit darker. Now you see I'm torn. I don't know which. I like them both. But I'm hoping that helps. Now, obviously, you can stamp on these, but you need an archival ink. I find the stickers, the beautiful stickers, are very useful. If you use die cuts, you could pop a die cut on there. It could be pressed flowers. I love pressing flowers, a pressed flower on there. Or even just a sentiment at the bottom. But I just think that is so pretty. So I'm hoping that's helped. So anybody who's got any questions, I'm hoping that's just helped by showing you the way I do it. But the biggest advice I can give you is to just have a play and have fun, but put a little on and build it up. The one thing I've noticed at workshops recently is too many crafters put too much on to start off with, and then they're saying, oh, it's too much, it's too dark. I mean, you can always add a little bit more, just a couple of drops, then you can always add another. So as always, thanks for spending time with me, and have a look. Have you got some alcohol inks? Is it about time you got them out and had a play? And you know what? If Mr. Mojo has gone, sometimes doing something a bit different, it's exciting, it's fun. And to be fair, it doesn't take long. I mean, I could spend the afternoon just creating quite a few tags. These would make great, I'm thinking Christmas. You see, I've got to get Christmas in somewhere. What colours are you going to use for your Christmas one? Imagine that with some beautiful berries. Little bow there and some berries. Agnes, I know you're making these for Christmas, so I hope that's given you some ideas as well. Imagine with those colours that you chose on Saturday, a light blue, a light purple, then Posca. Posca on top is fabulous. Some Posca splatters, some white Posca splatters. Oh yeah, I'm seeing those Christmas tags. So enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Thanks as always for joining me on here. I really do value the time that we get to spend together, your friendship, and for those of you that leave a comment. It's so lovely to just read them. And you know what? Your comments, other crafters can read them. And especially if you're at home on your own and feeling a bit low, just reading other people's comments, feeling part of the family, it really does help. And I think in this day and age, there's so much negativity, so much hurt in the world. If we can stick together, help each other out, even just something as simple as this, having a nice chat, obviously over a cheeky brew and biscuit. Do you know, if that helps, let's go for it. Let's make the world a nicer place. Just us lot on here. And you know what? It helps the sales of coffee. So you take care. Have a lovely weekend. I'm hoping to get some gardening done. So don't judge the nails on Monday. They might need a bit of a repair job. Love and hugs from me. Take care. Bye for now.